You were never a child. Let that settle in. While other kids were learning to ride bikes, you were learning to read moods. While they were worried about homework, you were worried about whether someone would eat today. While they were playing games, you were playing the role of therapist, mediator, caretaker, parent. You were never a child, because someone decided their childhood was more important than yours. Someone decided their pain mattered more than your innocence. Someone decided their comfort was worth your sacrifice. And you didn't even know you had a choice. You thought that was normal. You thought that was love. You thought that's what family meant. Carrying weight that wasn't yours to carry, solving problems that weren't yours to solve, holding together people who should have been holding you. But here's what nobody told you. It was theft. They didn't just ask too much of you. They stole from you. They stole your right to be protected, your right to be cared for, your right to exist without constantly performing, fixing, or surviving. They took the years when you were supposed to learn how to be vulnerable and made you learn how to be invincible instead. They took the time when you should have been discovering who you were and forced you to become whoever they needed you to be. And the cruelest part, you probably don't even feel angry about it. You feel guilty. Guilty for thinking about yourself. Guilty for wanting rest. Guilty for not being enough, even though you were always too much of what they should have been. Listen carefully. You were not born to be their solution. You were not placed on this earth to manage their addiction, absorb their rage, translate their dysfunction, or become the adult in the room before you even understood what that meant. You were supposed to be loved unconditionally. Instead, you were loved transactionally. As long as you performed the role, you got to stay in the family. The moment you faltered, the moment you showed your own needs, the moment you stopped being useful, the warmth disappeared. That is not love. That is employment without a contract. And you've been working that job since you could walk. Let's talk about what parentification does to you. It doesn't just steal your childhood. It rewires your brain. It teaches you that your worth is measured by how much you can endure, how much you can give, how much you can sacrifice before you finally break. You learn that asking for help is weakness, that needing something makes you a burden, that love is something you earn by being useful, not something you receive for simply existing. So you became indispensable. You became the one who always knows what to do, the one who doesn't complain, the one who holds it all together while everyone else falls apart. And people praised you for it, didn't they? You're so mature for your age. You're so responsible. I don't know what I'd do without you. They made it sound like a compliment. It wasn't. It was an admission of failure. Their failure. They were telling you, without saying it directly, that they couldn't do their job, so you had to do it for them. And you did. You became the parent to your own parents. The emotional support for people who should have been supporting you. The fixer for people who refused to fix themselves. And now you're an adult, and you don't know how to stop. You don't know how to rest without feeling guilty. You don't know how to receive love without wondering what you owe in return. You don't know how to be in a relationship without becoming the caretaker, the therapist, the one who sacrifices everything to keep everyone else comfortable. You are exhausted, and you don't even know how to admit it, because admitting exhaustion means admitting you're human, and you were never allowed to be human. You were only allowed to be useful. Here's the lie they sold you. Family means sacrifice, and you believed it. You believe that love means giving until there's nothing left, that loyalty means staying even when it destroys you, that being a good person means erasing your own needs so others can thrive. But let me tell you the truth. Sacrifice without reciprocity is not love, it's exploitation. Real love does not require children to become parents. Real love does not demand that you shrink yourself so others can expand. Real love does not teach you that your existence is conditional on your usefulness. What you experienced was not a family teaching you values. It was a family using you to avoid their own responsibilities. And the most insidious part, they convinced you it was your choice. They made you believe you were being noble, mature, selfless. They made you believe that if you just tried a little harder, gave a little more, stayed a little longer, everything would finally be okay. But it never was it? Because the problem was never you. The problem was that they were asking a child to do an adult's job. And no matter how hard you tried, no matter how much you gave, it was never going to be enough because you were not supposed to be doing it in the first place. You carry something else too, don't you? Rage. Deep, buried, suffocating rage. Not the kind that explodes, the kind that simmers, the kind you don't even let yourself feel, because if you start, you're terrified you'll never stop. You're angry at them for stealing your childhood. You're angry at yourself for not realizing it sooner. You're angry at the world for pretending this was normal. You're angry because no one protected you, because no one noticed, because when people saw how responsible and mature you were, they smiled and moved on, never once asking if you were okay. You learned to perform so well that no one saw you drowning, and now even when you try to tell people, they don't believe you because you seem so put together, so capable, so strong. They don't see that your strength is a scar, not a skill. They don't see that you had to become this strong because no one else was strong for you. Let me say this plainly. Your anger is valid. You were robbed, not with a weapon, but with need. Not with violence, but with dependence. Not with cruelty, but with expectation. And the people who did it to you probably don't even know. They probably think they did their best. They probably think you turned out great. So what's the problem? The problem is you never got to be a child. The problem is you had to grow up in survival mode. And now you don't know how to live in anything else. The problem is you are still to this day carrying weight that was never yours to carry. And here's the darkest part. You do it to yourself now. Even when no one is asking, you overextend, you overgive, you overfunction. You attract people who need fixing because fixing people is the only language of love you were ever taught. You end up in relationships where you are the emotional backbone, the problem solver, the one who sacrifices while the other person takes and takes and takes. And when it falls apart, you blame yourself. I should have done more. I should have tried harder. Maybe if I had just been better, they would have stayed. No. Stop. You are not responsible for other people's inability to show up. You are not responsible for other people's refusal to grow. You are not responsible for keeping broken people whole. That was the job they gave you as a child, and you do not have to keep doing it as an adult. The pattern stops when you decide it stops. Not when you've given enough. Not when you've proven your worth. Not when someone finally sees your value and rewards you for it. It stops when you say, I was never supposed to carry this, and I'm putting it down. You cannot get those years back. That is the brutal truth. The time you spent raising people who should have been raising you is gone. The innocence, the freedom, the lightness, you will never experience them the way you were supposed to, but you can stop losing more. You can stop sacrificing the rest of your life to make up for what was stolen from you. You can stop proving your worth to people who will never see it. You can stop overgiving to compensate for the love you never received. You want to reclaim something? Reclaim your right to rest. Reclaim your right to need. Reclaim your right to say, I can't do this for you, without guilt, without explanation, without apologizing for having limits. You were taught that having needs makes you weak. Let me reframe that. Having needs makes you human, and denying your humanity to serve people who refuse to acknowledge theirs is not strength, it's self-destruction. You think you're being loyal. You think you're being strong. You think you're being loving. You're not. You're repeating the only script you were ever given, and you are allowed to burn that script. Here's what they didn't teach you. Family is not just the people you were born to. Family is the people who see you, not your function, not your utility, not what you can do for them, but you. The you that is tired, the you that is uncertain, the you that doesn't have all the answers, the you that sometimes needs to be held instead of holding everyone else. Real family does not ask children to be adults. Real family does not require you to earn love through service. Real family does not collapse the moment you stop performing. You were raised in a structure that taught you the opposite. So now you get to build something different. You get to find people or become the person who shows up without an agenda, who loves without transaction, who sees exhaustion and says, "Rest, I'll carry this for a while." That is the family you deserved. And it is the family you can still create, not by bloodline, by choice. Let me be very clear about something. You are not responsible for healing the people who broke you. You are not responsible for making sure they understand what they did. You are not responsible for managing their guilt, their denial, or their refusal to acknowledge the harm. They may never apologize, they may never see it, they may genuinely believe they did nothing wrong, that they were just doing their best, that you're being dramatic or ungrateful. Let them believe that. You do not need their validation to know what you survived. You do not need their permission to stop repeating the cycle. You do not need their acknowledgement to start living differently. Your healing is not contingent on their awakening. Move forward anyway. Here is the only question that matters. What will you do with the rest of your life? Will you keep living as if you are still that child, desperately trying to earn love by being indispensable? Or will you finally give yourself permission to be human, flawed, tired, needy, imperfect, and still worthy of love? The world will keep asking things of you. People will keep leaning on you. Situations will keep demanding that you show up, fix things, and carry weight. And every single time, you will have a choice. You can say yes out of habit, out of guilt, out of fear, that if you don't, you'll lose them. Or you can say, "Not this time. I've given enough." That is not cruelty. That is boundary. That is the radical act of believing you matter. Imagine this. A version of you that wakes up without dread. A version of you that doesn't immediately scan the room to see who needs what. A version of you that can sit in silence without feeling like you're failing someone. A version of you that receives care without flinching, without wondering what it costs, without preparing to repay it immediately. That version of you is not a fantasy. It is who you become the moment you decide you are no longer available to be used. You were stolen from, but you are not lost. You were forced to grow up too fast, but you are not broken beyond repair. You were taught that love is sacrifice, but you can learn that love is presence, safety, mutuality. You were never a child, but you can finally let yourself rest. The years are gone, the damage is done, but the rest of your life, that belongs to you. Stop giving it away to people who never deserved it in the first place.